And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Today is a very special day for Major League Baseball and Birmingham, Alabama. A regular season game will be played at Rickwood Field, the former home of the Birmingham Black Barons, one of the premier teams in the Negro Leagues. As a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Willie Mays, who played for the Black Barons, the San Francisco Giants will play the St. Louis Cardinals. Live coverage on Fox Sports and the MLB Network. First pitch at 5:15 p.m. Major League Baseball spent more than $5 million to renovate Rickwood Field, which opened in 1910. Some of the legendary names in baseball played at Rickwood early in their careers. Willie Mays, Satchel Paige, Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson, Reggie Jackson, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Mickey Mantle, and many more. Last summer, I got a chance to take a tour of Rickwood Field with a group of black journalists. I felt the undeniable history of that ballpark, and I still feel it today. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
Here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright. Here comes the sun, little darling. Here comes the sun. I say it's alright. It's alright. Little darling.
The music of Nina Simone on Tavis Smiley. I keep saying, because people tune in at different times of the day, right? So in case you have not heard me say this, June is Black Music Month, and every day during Black Music Month on this program, we feature the music of a particular African-American artist celebrating Black Music Month. And today, for a lot of reasons, we've chosen Nina Simone. In our first hour of today's program, we talked to Reverend William J. Barber II, who is leading the charge in this country, organizing poor and low-wage workers, as Dr. King was doing when he was killed, of course, in 1968. And in the last hour, we spent that 60 minutes in some pretty amazing conversations talking about Mississippi Freedom Summer 60 years ago this year. It was literally 60 years ago this summer, Sunday, I think to be exact, that Goodman, Schwerner, and Cheney came up missing. And for 44 days, while people expected that they were murdered, they were in fact found. 44 days later, the Klan had murdered and buried them. And so we were reflecting in our second hour about Mississippi Freedom Summer 60 years later. And I was pleased to talk to David Goodman a moment ago, the brother of Andrew Goodman, about the work of the Goodman Foundation when it comes to voting. And speaking of voting, see what I did there, Adam Schiff? See what I did there? See what I did there? Speaking of voting, I am pleased to welcome to our studio California Representative Adam Schiff. As you know, Adam Schiff was the one who led that first impeachment trial of then President Donald Trump. He's paid heavily for that, but I think he wears it as a badge of honor. I hope he does. But they came after Adam Schiff for leading that impeachment trial against Donald Trump. He is now running for the Senate here in the state of California. Many of you know that Dianne Feinstein, our senior senator for years, passed away. That seat is now being filled temporarily by LaFonza Butler, a black woman in the U.S. Senate. But there's a big race here in the state of California to replace Dianne Feinstein permanently, or at least for a full term in that seat. And Adam Schiff is in the lead in that race, and so we expect that Adam Schiff is going to be the next senator from the state of California, and I'm pleased to welcome him into this studio. My friend, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Congratulations on your 3rd anniversary.
Oh,
That's
thank
incredible.
you. Thank you. He's referring to, for those listening across the country, he's referring to the 3rd anniversary of our home station. Yesterday on Juneteenth, we celebrated year 3 of KBLA Talk 1580. And we had just a great day yesterday, celebrating Juneteenth and celebrating the 3rd anniversary of this station. So I received those kind congratulations from Adam Schiff on the 3rd anniversary of our station here in LA. Let me just jump right in and make the most of our time. When you think about Donald Trump and all that has happened to him, even since I last saw you, since we last were together, namely his conviction in New York City, you think what? Because again, you were the one that led the impeachment against him. And for so long, it seemed like he just kept sliding away, slipping away. He'd never get caught. He'd never be held accountable. And then it finally happened, Adam Schiff.
Well, that is exactly how I view it, which is this is a guy who has been essentially a serial lawbreaker, rule breaker, constitution breaker. And he's managed to get away with it for the longest time, delay any accountability. And I have to say, you got to take your hat off to Manhattan and to Alvin Bragg because, in the federal system, they've let us down because they have allowed him to stonewall any kind of a reckoning through a Florida judge appointed by Trump who is delaying that trial. Through the Supreme Court that has delayed the January 6th federal prosecution, through the delay of the Justice Department's own investigation. In Congress, our January 6th committee did a more thorough, more quick investigation than the Justice Department had done for a very long time. But Manhattan, they moved expeditiously. And I do think it's a remarkable thing that even as our democracy is under incredible stress, that 12 ordinary people came together in a jury to determine the guilt or innocence of a former president. That's the way it should be. He was given the same due process as any other defendant. That's the way it should be. So hats off to New York for its justice system working. We need to make sure that the federal justice system also holds him accountable. But one other consequence, Tavis, that we need to be mindful of is Trump, I think, always thought he was invulnerable to accountability. Now he realizes he can be convicted of his crimes, and there's a real risk, if not in the Manhattan case, then in some of these other cases, that he could get a jail sentence. That raises the stakes enormously for him in this election, because a big part of his motivation in running, I believe, is his desire to stay one step ahead of the jailer. So both the stakes in the election are higher for him, but it also means that if and when he loses, he will be even more desperate to overturn the results, because failure to do so could mean real accountability.
Adam Schiff is not nearly as tough as I am on the Department of Justice and Merrick Garland. When we come forward, I want to ask him, though, put him on the spot. He's running for office. He can handle it. I want to ask him directly about Merrick Garland. I just think that DOJ has dragged their feet. To your point, you and Benny Thompson, the chair of that committee, and the entire committee did an amazing job putting all the facts on the table. And how it is at Manhattan and other jurisdictions could be further along than they are just troubles me. Say nothing of now how the court system has to decide, what will or won't happen and how it will or will not be adjudicated. I just think that Merrick Garland dragged his feet on this. And if you consider, as some do, that this was the weakest, the Manhattan case of all the cases, I'm not sure I believe that. They end up getting our guy on tax evasion, the gangster, got him on tax evasion eventually. So that I'm not sure that weaker or stronger makes a difference. I just know that Merrick Garland, as far as I'm concerned, just dragged his feet on this. I want to take your temperature on that and a great deal more. Please be joined in studio by Congressman Adam Schiff on Tavis Smiley.
From Leimert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
Listen up here. If you've not been feeling yourself lately, if your weight loss dreams have turned into weight gain nightmares, if you've been chasing the same 20 pounds for 20 years, it's time for D-Herbs. D-Herbs Full Body Cleanse is a natural cleansing regimen that can help you lose 20 pounds in just 20 days. The Full Body Cleanse will also boost your immune system and improve your digestion. With summer now here, you can finally stop chasing those 20 pounds and propel yourself immediately into a healthier lifestyle. To reboot your system and lose weight, go to dherbs.com and order your Full Body Cleanse, or call 866-434-3727. If you mention Tavis, they will give you a discount at checkout. dherbs.com. Experience healing.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
If you're an adult in need of an accredited high school diploma, the Los Angeles Public Library can help. You could earn one for free in as few as 5 months, online with 24/7 access. You also get a personal academic coach, plus special training focused on 9 in-demand industries, as well as a resume and cover letter to advance your career. Visit the website at lapl.org/diploma. That's lapl.org/diploma.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today.
Let's get back to more of Tavis Smiley right now.
Oh, Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Cinnamon, where you gonna run to? Where you gonna run to? All on that day, will I run to the rock? Please
It's the music of Nina Simone all day today on our program as we celebrate June, Black Music Month. Every day a different artist whose music we feature, and today we are featuring the music of Nina Simone all 3 hours of our program. I am pleased to have in studio right now U.S. Congressman Adam Schiff from L.A., and so he's here with me in studio here in L.A. But if in fact he pulls off this Senate race here in California, which it appears he will, all the polls seem to indicate that he has a pretty heavy lead on a guy named Steve Garvey, a famous baseball player back in the day for the Dodgers. But Adam Schiff seems to be leading in every poll, every study, and every survey. I know that means, I know him, he won't get comfortable with those leads in the polls, but it suggests that he will be perhaps the next senator from the state of California. We'll talk about that in a moment here. But I was saying moments ago, Adam Schiff, that I am troubled by the way in which Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice has just moved too slow for me in this process. That's my read. What's yours?
Well, I agree with it. I think the Justice Department was very slow to go after the higher-ups. They moved almost immediately against the foot soldiers of the insurrection, the people that were beating police officers, breaking into the Capitol. But it took at least a year for them really to get started looking beyond that, lower rung of this attack. It is very unusual for Congress to be ahead of the Justice Department in an investigation. I've been involved now in several investigations in Congress that were contemporaneous with the Justice Department doing its own investigation. We never are in a position to lead because we're slow, we're cumbersome. We can't enforce our own subpoenas. When we wanted to subpoena Steve Bannon and he refused to show up, we had to go to the Justice Department hat in hand and say, can you please enforce the subpoena? They did, but when they issue a subpoena, if you get a subpoena from the Justice Department and you don't show up, you're going to jail. So, they waited a whole year to really get started in earnest, and the result of that year delay is that Donald Trump may get to escape justice until after the election.
Yeah. How are you reading the response to his conviction? You saw all the money he raised after that conviction, as again the guy who led the first impeachment of him in Congress. How are you reading that?
Well, I wouldn't say that money doesn't matter. He was at a financial disadvantage compared to Biden. That helped erase a big part of that disadvantage. But they want to paint this as new people, new voters, new supporters. It is not that. These are dollars coming from his diehard base that were always going to be with him. So it doesn't move the electoral needle, those donations. I do think the conviction really hurts him. I don't think Americans want a convicted felon as their president. And I'm definitely in the school that believes that Democrats need to be leaning into this and talking about how we don't want a felon in the Oval Office who is essentially a career criminal. You can imagine if Joe Biden had been convicted of a misdemeanor traffic offense, they would be the hay they'd be making out of it. And if we don't appear to care, then we're telling people they shouldn't care either. His lack of morality, his dishonesty, his criminality, I think is part of the case we make against him at the polls.
There are two schools of thought on this. The other day, your colleague was on this program, Maxine Waters, was here, and she feels similarly, feels as you feel, that we ought to be Democrats, the president, all Democrats ought to be reminding people that he is in fact a convicted felon. And the president has used that term, and used that phrase, as you know, a number of times. There are others who say that all that does, although it may be true, is to antagonize folk on the right, antagonize his supporters. We all recall the trouble that Hillary got him, and she used that term deplorables. And I'm not suggesting they're the same. I'm just saying that language matters, that staying on message matters. So the other school of thought is that to stay focused on the issues is the better strategy, and not to be talking about the convicted felon stuff as if everybody doesn't already know that anyway.
I think you have to do both, and it's important how you do both. Talking about Donald Trump as a convicted felon and as this, amoral being, completely divorced from other issues, everyday bread and butter issues. What's my rent going to look like? Am I going to have a job next year? You can't talk about the one without the other, and when you talk about both, you have to connect both. meaning the reason why Donald Trump isn't going to help folks pay the rent, he isn't going to help people become homeowners, he's not going to help people with their child care costs, is because he doesn't give a rat's ass about that. He cares only about himself. He has the mindset of someone who's only in it for themselves. He's in all this trouble because he's only in it for himself. I think the new Biden TV commercial really makes this point by starting out talking about, he just got convicted, he's a felon. He's also a business fraudster. He's also a sex abuser, and he's not going. Someone like that is not going to be looking out for you, and they're going to be looking out for themselves. My view is always that the best campaigns are ones in which the positive you can say about yourself and the negative that is true about your opponent are opposite sides of the same coin. That is, here I am, Joe Biden, I'm trying to address these issues, I'm trying to improve the quality of life, I'm trying to bring down costs. Donald Trump isn't, because that's not who he is. This is who he is.
Yeah. Donald Trump, we discussed earlier this week, as you well know, was in Detroit last weekend, and on that trip he went to a black church, and it made all kinds of news, his appeal to African-American voters. I've said many times that too often Democrats take black voters for granted and Republicans flat out ignore us, and I don't want Adam Schiff or any Democrat to take my community for granted. So let me just ask you point blank, what is your appeal specifically to African-American voters? This audience knows, the national audience knows, that you defeated one African-American elected official, Barbara Lee, on the way to getting the Democratic Party nomination. Katie Porter, of course, a white woman, but you defeated two women on the route to becoming the nominee. But there were a number of African-Americans who supported, of course, Barbara Lee in her campaign, and I am just curious as to what your appeal is specifically to African-American voters in the state of California.
First of all, let me just say, Barbara Lee, she has been a friend of mine for over 25 years. We served together in the state legislature. I remember chatting with her as the campaign was just getting underway and saying, Barbara, we've been friends before this campaign, we're going to be friends during the campaign, we're going to be friends after the campaign, and we are. Very proud that she's endorsed my campaign. She's just a wonderful, quality human being and a great public servant, so I want to just reflect that. As a member of Congress from the 30th District, I've worked hard to serve all of my constituents and pay particular attention to the black community in my district. I want to do that for the black community statewide. It means addressing issues that each community cares about, but maybe have a disproportionate impact on the black community. I've been carrying legislation, for example, for years to try to provide equitable access to health care as a civil right. If you and I go to the same hospital with the same illness, I might get different treatment than you do. And having nothing to do with my position or yours, if we were complete unknowns, but just based on the color of our skin, whether it is the cancer treatment that you get or the maternity care my wife gets. It can, as you know, depend significantly on the color of your skin. So I have legislation that would create a civil rights office in the Department of Health and Human Services, provide a private right of action, require hospitals to maintain data so we can determine who's providing equitable access. There is no reason why in the state of California a black person's life expectancy should be 75 years when every other Californian's life expectancy is 81 years. That's a 6-year difference. 6 years less to spend with your grandkids, your kids, 6 years less to enjoy your retirement, dignified retirement. And I want the community to know that I'm going to be fighting diligently on behalf of the community, bringing resources back to the community, helping address issues like access to capital, the need to acquire the wealth of home ownership, and be a partner and a champion for the community. And I want to make sure that in the decisions that I make about who gets appointed to the bench and who gets appointed to the cabinet, whatever role I may have in those decisions as a senator, I want to make sure those positions are reflective of the diversity of our state.
Joe Biden was just here in our state a few days ago raising a whole lot of money He and Barack Obama appeared together with a number of high-profile celebrities here in Hollywood, raising a lot of money. As we sit here today, what are your thoughts about his chances of winning? Clearly, he will win California. But across the board, these polls, surveys, and studies suggest that if the election were held today, he might not pull this thing out. As if you believe those polls, studies, and surveys. He's your guy. Again, he won't hurt you down ballot either way. But what are your thoughts about his chances as we sit for this conversation right about now, Adam Schiff?
I think his chances are good, but it's close, and the fact that there's even a possibility that Trump could be successful is terrifying because it would be such a catastrophe. But I think President Biden's chances are good. When we get closer to the election, and I think you will really get a sense after Labor Day, people come home to the party, and he needs people to come home to the party. He cannot afford to have people sit this election out. We have to particularly make a vigorous case to young people. Young people may end up deciding this race by voting or not voting. But I like his chances, and I'm doing everything, obviously, I can to improve those chances. And he needs great surrogates out there. He is not going to be as magnetic for young people as a younger candidate. Just not. I think the only one who's pulled that off is Bernie Sanders. But there are lots of others, his vice president, people in the industry who I think can help excite young people about voting and make the case about why it's so important. We're days away from this first debate. The schedule is far more aggressive and quickened. You don't want to get to these debates on the other side of Labor Day, right? That sprint between Labor Day and Election Day, but we're days away from this first debate. Do you think that debate is going to make any difference at all? I think it could make a difference. And it's interesting that the Biden campaign decided to do debates at all, since Trump, basically shunned all the debates he in the primary. He is not really in a position to complain if Joe Biden said, well, okay, fine, we won't do debates. So it's an interesting choice by the president to accept debates, propose debates, and to do one early. Now, I think there is a kind of a disproportionate advantage in the debates for Trump because the bar for him is so low. I mean, he can say anything, and it doesn't seem to disturb people, no matter how disturbing it is. The same is not true for Joe Biden. So there is a lot at stake in this debate, and a lot of potential risk for the president. But he's a very bright guy. He's a skilled debater. I think he will do well, and I'm hoping and praying that's the case. This is not my first conversation with Adam Schiff during this cycle or any other cycle in his career, and it will not be my last conversation with Adam Schiff between now and November, I am certain, but I'm always honored when he takes the time to actually come in studio to see us and to talk about these issues. Adam Schiff, I suspect, will be the next U.S. Senator from the state of California, and again, we'll get a chance to check in with him again and see how things are going between now and Election Day. For now, I thank Representative Schiff for coming in to see us. All the best to you, sir. We'll talk again. Thank you. Great to be with you. And again, congratulations on 3 amazing years. My guy, thank you. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
Unapologetically progressive.
And that's how we do it.
Unapologetically black. You're tapped into Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Orange County, Florida voters will now have 2 new early voting locations ahead of the upcoming election. Supervisor of Elections Glenn Gilzine made the announcement, saying one of the sites will be inside Eatonville's Town Hall building. The town was one of the first self-governing all-black municipalities in the country after it was founded in 1887. The other site will open at Lyft Orlando's new building in West Lakes, which is currently known as a voting desert. The Kansas City Chiefs and Kansas City Royals are one step closer to a possible move from Missouri to Kansas. KCTV reports that the Kansas legislature approved a bill recently that creates a star bond district that will allow the state to make an offer to the teams. The star bonds would cover a majority of the cost for new stadiums for the Chiefs and Royals. Meanwhile, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, who is black, says the city and the state of Missouri will continue negotiating with the teams in an effort to keep them in the city of Kansas City. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
North 405 at Mulholland Drive, a crash is blocking the middle lane. Traffic is stop and go from Venice Boulevard. West 10 just before Lincoln Boulevard, a crash is blocking the 2 right lanes. Traffic is solid. You're stopped from Bundy Drive. We've got a stall on South 5 just past the 710 that's blocking the middle lane with a backup from Highway 60. In North 101 at Haskell Avenue, a stall has been moved over to the right shoulder. Traffic backed up from Woodman Avenue.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Today is a very special day for Major League Baseball and Birmingham, Alabama. A regular season game will be played at Rickwood Field, the former home of the Birmingham Black Barons, one of the premier teams in the Negro Leagues. As a tribute to the Negro Leagues and Willie Mays, who played for the Black Barons, the San Francisco Giants will play the St. Louis Cardinals. Live coverage on Fox Sports and the MLB Network. First pitch at 5:15 p.m. Major League Baseball spent more than $5 million to renovate Rickwood Field, which opened in 1910. Some of the legendary names in baseball played at Rickwood early in their careers. Willie Mays, Satchel Paige, Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson, Reggie Jackson, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Mickey Mantle, and many more. Last summer, I got a chance to take a tour of Rickwood Field with a group of black journalists. I felt the undeniable history of that ballpark, and I still feel it today. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done.
So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is
grab the keys.
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse Limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
He's rooting for everybody black. Everybody black. Black. More of Tavis Smiley coming your way right now. Right now. Right now. Right now.
They say everything can be replaced. They say every distance is not near. So I remember every face of every man who put me here.
It's been great today playing some of the best of Nina Simone as we move through all 3 hours of this program. Every day in the month of June, we choose a different artist of the day and feature their music all 3 hours of our program. And it's been pretty cool hearing the smooth sounds, the amazing lyricism, never mind the performance artistry of one Nina Simone. And so we've enjoyed the opportunity to play some of the best of Nina in this program today. In this last half hour, a conversation with Greenleaf actor Julian Bertano and his wife Kari Bertano, a licensed general contractor. You heard me correct. A licensed general contractor is she. We'll talk about black entrepreneurship and their entry now into hotel ownership. I'm pleased to have them on this program. Julian, how are you today?
I'm good, Tavis. How you doing today?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I am doing well. Kari, how are you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, and thank you for having us.
It's good to have you on. Let me start with you. It's not so often that I run into black women who are licensed general contractors. Tell me about that part before we get to the hotel y'all own now.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you giving a shout-out to black women in construction. I got my start in construction many years now. I initially got in working with Habitat for Humanity. So I got in on the residential front, and then after starting and having my career in construction, I gravitated towards commercial construction, and I have my Class A CIC general contractor's license in the state of Virginia.
That is very cool. Tell me how that became your lane. Give me the backstory for how one who is a black woman, Kari, ends up even in that field in the first place.
Well, I've always had a love for seeing things from the beginning to, just creation of buildings and just seeing the architecture. I always had a fascination with that. Kind of have a creativity side and creative with sketching. And so I've always loved architecture and just seeing buildings and seeing things just from start to finish. So just for me, I always knew I wanted to be in building of some aspect. I got my start in architectural engineering and soon learned that was not my lane. I'm telling you, I did 4 years and just all of the math and the sciences. Not that it was, it was challenging, but I was definitely able to stand up to the challenge. But for me, I really wanted to be on the building side. I really wanted to be on just seeing the ecosystems that goes in on construction sites, just seeing all that, plays out, just sparked my curiosity and creativity kind of all in one. So I got my start, like I said, at Habitat. And coincidentally enough, I was at a Habitat event, and my previous employer, he seen me talking to people in the crowd and just, had an understanding of who I was kind of just from being a part of the organization. And he just seen me, and he was looking and I said, who is this man keeps staring at me as I'm talking to everybody? But he came up to me and said, I've heard about you. I've been hearing you talking, and I really want to he had a material handling company that deals with construction, but it's kind of, goes along with and not necessarily in that lane. But he wanted to get into the commercial construction lane, just knowing that there was missed opportunity. So he said to me, would you like to, discover this with me and kind of help me build this department? And at the time, again, I'm kind of like a steward of learning. I love having mentors. I love learning things. I'm just a big advocate of education. So I was like, sure. Now, I just got offered an internship with Samet to do a project. So I said, I would like to do that, but I have a part-time job, and if I can work, those other days. And he said, sure, please come on board. And it went from part-time to full-time to running a department to, leading that division into making multiple millions of dollars within the 7 years that I was there. So in that, doing a lot of that work in North Carolina, licenses wasn't required for where we fall. We fell within the Division 10 spec section of construction. So we were doing a lot of commercial projects and was just seeing that there was a lot of opportunities in other states, other places, and so wanted to get into the Virginia market and knew had to be a general contractor in order to do any work in this state. So that's really how it was a happy circumstance for me for getting my general contractor's license.
No, it is an amazing story. I'm always fascinated by the backstory. And we say all the time around here, you see people's story, you see their glory, really. You see their glory, but you don't always know the backstory. So it's the backstory that always fascinates me, so I'm glad I asked that question. Let me ask you right quick before I get to your Greenleaf actor husband in this conversation. You mentioned Habitat a couple times. I happen to know President Jimmy Carter rather well. I consider him a friend. I've interviewed him many, many times over the course of my career at his political journeys. And the fact that you were in that Habitat program got my attention. It's a pretty amazing program. When you look back on your work in Habitat more broadly, I'm asking about what you make of that program. It's a pretty amazing program, is it not? Oh, it's phenomenal. It kind of showed me that ownership side and how you can actually utilize services to aid you in something that a lot of people lack, which was home ownership. Just being able to work with families, work through their challenges, and just filling gaps where they may have felt those. It kind of touched me with my workforce side and my social side, and just making sure and seeing, because these people are my family. This is who I know. This is my environment, and if we can have ownership and we can work towards that, I want to get that to everyone. So how can I? It was about the program. It wasn't just about the construction. It was about meeting the people. It was about learning about the services that was offered. It was about even the service of them opening their house in the first day and, praying over the house and just wishing people well and keeping up with them once they even got that home. Yeah, there's no doubt no doubt about the fact that President Jimmy Carter put Habitat on the map. Everybody knows about Habitat for Humanity. We've all seen over the years many, many pictures and moving images of President Carter on rooftops helping to build these homes. So Habitat for Humanity is one of the great organizations in this country. I wanted to just underscore that, given that Akari mentioned it a couple times. Just some great work done by Habitat, and that's where she got her start. Who knew when she started Habitat, she didn't end up being a hotel owner. When we come forward, we'll talk about that part. When we come forward, we'll talk about that part. We'll be joined in this conversation by Akari's husband, Greenleaf actor Julian, to talk about black entrepreneurship and once again their entry into hotel ownership. We'll do that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
What does it take to take on Alzheimer's? Awareness that nearly 2/3 of those diagnosed are women, including Black women. Dedication to lowering your risk by eating healthy and monitoring blood pressure. And confidence to talk to your healthcare provider about screening and early detection. You have what it takes to take on Alzheimer's. Learn about signs and screening at takeonalz.com. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
What happens on Tavis Smiley is the talk of the town. You can now tune in to the Tavis Smiley Show weekdays at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Catch Tavis Smiley on the 9s weekdays exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007 they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
I'll get back to the hotel in just a moment. Julian, what does being an actor on Greenleaf do for one's career, sir?
I'm definitely the one to ask about that. I can tell you firsthand, it has gave me a trajectory into lanes and doors and conversations, not just because of Greenleaf. Greenleaf was phenomenal by itself, but it was just the opportunity out the gate within 2 weeks of getting into the acting world to be able to get on the show as a background actor and get promoted and bumped up to a co-star role alongside Oprah Winfrey. That is a game changer.
Yeah. I asked you.
It definitely was.
I asked your wife earlier why construction for her. So I asked you why acting for you.
I always wanted to be utilize the arts and be a creative. I started playing instruments at a young age, at 8 years old, saxophone, trumpet, piano, guitar a little bit, so it's always been in me. And obviously back then in school, you weren't just in one thing. When you were in the band, you was in the chorus, you was in the orchestra, and you was in the dance, So I kind of got exposed to all of the arts at a young age. I had to spend that time there. My mom was, single mom, and she had me in those activities, so I was exposed to it. And then just growing up, getting into nightlife at a young age of 15 years old, and kind of just being in that world of entertainment, media, events, hospitality, they all kind of work together in a leisure atmosphere. And so as I pivoted in 2015 and got into acting after losing my business, because I had a restaurant and club, actually, and I got shut down, and I was in a very interesting place. I lost all my investment dollars, and I found myself kind of by myself. This was before I met my wife, right before I met her. And I made a declaration. Once I had to do some digging and soul searching of what I really want to do, what type of impact I wanted to make with it. And one thing I said to myself was, if I ever got an opportunity or a platform from just diving in and leaning into that creative space, that I would use that platform to help others. And then you got to be careful of what you put out there, because things come back super fast on you. And so within 2 weeks of going up and down the East Coast, getting on 5 projects, like major projects on set as a background actor, the 5th one was Greenleaf, and that was within 2 weeks of starting, and everything just kind of was accelerated from there. And I just been leaning in ever since and doing different things. But
And speaking of leaning in, what I want to lean into when we come forward in our remaining moments is this hotel. So Julian and Kari are the owners of a boutique hotel, and so we'll talk in our remaining moments about black entrepreneurship and what it means to own a boutique hotel as a black couple. We'll do that on Tavis Smiley.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Did you know addiction to drugs like meth or cocaine is a disease and not a choice? But getting help is. If you have stimulant use disorder, you, your family, and friends may have a lot of questions, including where to start. Choose Change California can help. Make a change today and find a proven treatment option for you at choosechangeca.org.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take our auntie to the swap meet. Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $2,860 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
So, Kyrie, I got about 3 minutes left here. I got a tight three. Tell me about this hotel acquisition in Virginia.
Yes, we were blessed to get into a public-private partnership with the town of South Boston, Virginia, to complete our first boutique hotel.
Tell me about it. Talk to me about it.
Oh, well, it's a very exciting project for us and the town. It's going to be an anchor. It's in their downtown area. It's going to feature a rooftop bar, a main level bar, as well as a restaurant and an event space as well. So we're excited to be able to be an anchor and offer opportunity for, everyone in the community, and hopefully to educate people who would like to get into this space so we can be larger than the 1% representation and actually, build some generational wealth.
Yeah. Julian, why the hospitality? You mentioned hospitality earlier in our conversation. Why enter the hospitality space?
Well, it's needed. Me as a creative, as a quote-unquote public figure, person traveling, doing things, going to different communities, as a traveler, and then still having needs as an actor, such as self-tape auditions and podcasts, interviews, photos, things like that. There's certain needs that I had as a traveling person. And then since COVID, so many people have pivoted and transitioned into needing social media and other type of services and marketing and branding opportunities. I felt like we could utilize the hospitality space in order to do so. Plus, my wife wanted to get into development and real estate, and we said, well, you know what better way to do it? We're going to jump all the way in the hotel space.
Oh yeah. Have we named this hotel yet, Curry?
Yes, we have. It's going to be the Rook at South Boston.
The Rook, I like that. The Rook at South Boston. And you expect it to come online about when?
We're expecting to be open last Q4 in 2025. And this will be the first of many Rooks we plan. We want to make this a brand and have many Rooks in these secondary and tertiary markets, give barriers to, stop those barriers to entry for other hoteliers and build education through development with people who want to partner with us. We want to be a vessel to bridge and connect like minds.
Well, I'm betting on black, and that means I'm betting on you and Julian in this instance. So congratulations on the Rook in South Boston. I celebrate that and look forward to seeing you just flower and flourish in this hospitality space in the months and years to come. Congrats again. Good to have you both on the program. Thanks for your time. All the best to you.
Thank you, Tavis. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Tomorrow, the best of Tavis Smiley. Until then, thanks for tuning in. And as always, keep the faith.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Crew members who have been stuck aboard a cargo ship since the Baltimore, Maryland bridge collapse 12 weeks ago may soon be able to go home. Over 20 crew members from India and Sri Lanka have been stuck on the ship